times, and to have this, that definitely it's honorable to myself. But thank you, man. I appreciate that answer, and I think
Thank you.
not only you, but I'm sure many others have that same thoughts. That we all have these thoughts that we can see the bigger people doing big things, but sometimes that willpower has big dreams. It's just as what we need. That'd be great. I'd be honored to go on your show for sure. And question number 9, this is kind of the person starting out with the business. What is a message you would give to people who are trying to build a company or a business from scratch?
I would first just start out with that, and it's a classic triangle or whatever shape it is. But I would obviously start with the question that you have to ask first is, what do I want to do? Right? And most people say, I don't know. So I had my cousin here the other day, and I love my cousin, but he works at like some factory here in our town, and he makes okay money. But I was thinking, like, how could I hire him here at my agency? So I asked him a question. I said, hey, if you weren't working where you're working, what would you be doing? Like, what would you be wanting to do? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, okay, what if like your dad said, I have $5,000 a month every month for like the next 2 or 3 years to pay your bills so that you can just do what you love? Like, what would that thing be? And he goes, I don't know. And it broke my heart because he's been so caught up in this world of like, I need to make money, I need to support myself, that he actually forgot. He forgot what he loves. He forgot, I love painting, I love playing video games, I love skateboarding, I love, taking pictures, I love making little movies, I love telling jokes. He forgot, like he doesn't know anymore. Wow. He lost himself. And he's not alone. I was there. Many of people that are listening right now are there. They think they know what they want, but they don't. If you really told them, like, what will you make money at doing? So the next question is, what do you want? What do you want to do? The next question is, what are you actually good at? And I don't mean like, are you good at skateboarding? I mean like, you like skateboarding. That was your first answer. What about skateboarding are you good at? Not are you a good skateboarder, but are you a good filmer? Are you good at designing skateboard like logos on the bottoms of the board? Like there's so many things. Like people just look at industries and they go, oh, I like cookies, so they have to be the baker. Why can't they be the one that makes the recipes? Why can't they be the one that does the packaging? So that's the first 2 questions I would ask is, what do I love? What am I good at? The next question I would ask myself is, what's the most realistic way I could go into business today? Like, screw 10 years from now, screw next year, screw next month. Like, what can I do today that could kind of put me in business? Whether it's a free thing to get me started, like a free like trial people could get of my cookies, or it's like something where I could charge $1, whatever that looks like, is what legal and or practical things do I need to do to be in business today? Like tonight, it's 10 a.m., 10:24. We got a good chunk of the day left. Like if I wanted to start a muffin company or sell muffins, like what could I do today just to be in business by tonight? You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Work on the time frame, what you got now. I think because if you look at things in 5, 10, although the next question is a little interesting, it might be counterintuitive. If you look starting off 10, 15, 20 years, like where are you going? And I'm glad you mentioned find your passion, because if you think about it, you're right. A baker, you can do other things, baking, skateboarder. It doesn't have to be an actual skateboarder. You can be behind the scenes, or you could be the filmer, photographer. And I think finding yourself and not getting lost in this world of it all has to be about money, or all has to be about this one thing. You keep it specific in a factory like your cousin. It really does help when you look at the bigger picture. And not only him, but I'm sure, like you said yourself, I'm sure not every, but most people are in this situation. Like, what can we do? And instead of maybe focusing 2-3 years down the line, focus on the now and focus on your passion and what's the underlying meaning of the passion that can really broaden your horizons.
Yep.
And question 10, and this is interesting because that might be counter too, but what are your goals in the next 5 years, whether it be personally, business, or anything you want to share with the Anchor Nation?
My goal is to... So my goal is to build, so my business is a platform. My personal brand is a platform. So my goal is to have that platform as big as I can make it. Not as big as it can be, but as big as I can make it. Because the whole point of the platform is that it's unique to me. There are millions of platforms out there, whether you have other entrepreneurs or other companies or other personalities. They have their platforms and they have teams and they have companies behind them. So they're maybe trying to make their platform as big as it can be made, right? So Disney wants their platform as big as it can be made, and they don't care how they do it. But I want my platform to be as big as I can make it. So whether that's a follower count, a subscriber count, an amount of employees, whatever that looks like, I want it to be as big as I can make it. I don't want to like hire outside like voices and thoughts and control just for the sake of making something big. The second goal that I have is, if you want to talk about like numbers or whatever, yeah, I have a goal that I'm sitting in this office right now. It's barely 400 and some odd square feet, but my goal is to have every chair in here full of people working. You know, my goal isn't to even outgrow this office in 5 years. My goal is I have like 9 chairs in here, and I think every one of them should be full. And we're almost halfway to filling those chairs, but to fill the second half, it's going to take not just like better clients or more money or anything. It's going to take more actual work, like, because we're able to output so much work with the talent we have right now. So it's going to take like new ventures, new ideas. So my big goal is to fill these chairs. My big goal is to have, 10, 12 employees. That would just like make my whole life a lot better. I was a natural born leader and problem solver. And so my goal in the next 5 years is just to continue to grow something where I can lead and to where I can continue to problem solve. Those are the two, and the third thing I was given was communication. I can communicate really well, I can problem solve, and I can lead people. As long as I'm getting to do those 3 things, in the next 5 years, I just want to continue to build on top of that. I want to get myself in more situations, and I want God to get me in more situations where I can do those 3 things and just keep doing them and doing them and doing them. And hopefully all that motivational stuff, hopefully all that helping people stuff, hopefully all that comes as a byproduct of that. Because I know sometimes I get excited myself and I want to pump people up or I want to inspire people. Right. But if that's your main goal, it's no different than the Bible talks about praying in the street. Like if you pray in the street or if you give a gift in front of others, that's the only reward you're going to get, is just that recognition. But when you do things behind closed doors and you're really rooting for people behind closed doors and praying for them behind closed doors, your Father's going to reward you 10, 20, 100-fold. And so that's how I believe with this stuff is you can motivate, you can inspire, you can give, you can do all that. But if you're just doing it for the sake of that, that's all the reward you're going to get. So you need to be doing these things kind of behind the scenes in a sense, So that's kind of my goal, is just to build that platform so I can do more leading, problem solving, and communicating.
That's a great point. I think doing the stuff behind the scenes is just as important as what comes out in the forefront. Because sometimes the behind the scenes work, that's the most tough, most underlying, graceful work you'll ever do.
It is the most important work that's ever done. I just watched the new Star Wars, The Last Jedi, about 5 times. Why don't you watch those credits and tell me how many of the names on the credits are the stars and how many names on the credit are not those stars? I'll give you a hint. Less than 1% is the 5, 6, 7, 10 main characters, and there's a bajillion names after that. All people that without them, that movie would have been dog shit.
That's it. I think that's it. It's the people the people who really don't care about the recognition. They're those selfless heroes. They just give all the time in the world to keep the production going because things have to go on. And when they do that, their recognition is being in the credits, even though it may be small, to know that they've done something that made an impact in the world. And I'm glad you mentioned with your dream of getting those seats filled, because those dreams like that it may seem small, but they're the most important. To have a full working company, to go out on new ventures, explore new options, and be innovative. That's the 4th thing I would say. Everyone who's a problem-solving leader and communicate, you definitely are innovative, you're intuitive to the world, and good things could come as long as you keep doing what you're saying with God's work in the hierarchy and make things happen along the way. Give people chances. It's important. And our final question, question 11, what is one thing that the Anchor Nation may not know about you, and would you like to tell? And it could be a fun fact.
Well, the Anchor Nation probably doesn't know jack diddly squat about me. But if I had to assume that they kind of knew a little bit about me through this interview, something they don't know about me is that, give me just a minute. I want to be this guy. I want to take a quick minute here.
Yeah, go for it.
Something that they don't know about me is the same thing that a lot of people in my life don't know about me, is that appearances can be a whole lot different than reality. And so if you think that I'm a really nice and caring and loving guy, you probably don't realize that I tell racist, sexist, annoying, stupid, vulgar jokes when I'm alone with my friends or my brother or my coworkers. And if you think that I'm just this vulgar, cussing, young, immature ding-dong, you do not see the times where I'm alone with my friends, my family, my coworkers, where I'm like plotting, I'm praying, I'm trying to make good happen. I'm trying to not put me first. I'm trying to get people paid. You know, when we have X amount of dollars and I need those dollars, but I want them to go to someone else, they need to go to someone else. You know, whether it's legally or just like morally, they deserve to go to somebody else. So that's what I would say is like appearances aren't everything. So if you think that me or Brad Pitt is amazing and sexy and handsome and funny, when you meet them, you're going to be sorely mistaken because Brad Pitt is not those things in person. But if you don't like me, if you don't like Brad Pitt, and you think he's vile and disgusting and shallow and vain, you're going to be surprised because when you meet him, he might just surprise you and he might be humble and funny and kind and sweet. So it's like really appearances aren't everything with me, with an A-list star, even with UKT. With a lot of this stuff, you cannot get too caught up on the post. You can't get too caught up on the podcast. You can't get too caught up on the email. You can't get too caught up on the segment or the interview. You really, really have to use those things to just decide, do I want to get to know this person? And if you want to get to know this person, you need to email them. You need to text them. You need to call them. You need to FaceTime them. You need to take them to coffee. You need to do whatever it takes to get in their presence physically so that you can really get the scoop on, is this a nice guy? Is this a cool guy? Is this the kind of guy I want to spend my money with? Is this the guy kind of guy I want to spend my time with? Is this the guy I want to support? Or right? So that's what I would say that you don't know about me, and you don't really know about anybody, is the reaction, the contrast to the appearances that you're getting.
That's right. I think if you go to those extremes to know people, you have to put them in the presence. You got to do certain things, and when you start to know people and you start really figuring it out by you going out of your way to do it, put the work in to meet new people and really explore who they are, then you find a deeper meaning, and then you can start looking at the appearance. But until then, just keep an open mind and know who you're talking to and be conscientious of the situation. It's a good way to end it for sure, Ken. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, if you guys, thank you to everybody listening to the Anchor Nation. Thank you to Kendel. But before we go, Ken, I know you DM'd a little bit of your social media. Would you like to DM the rest of your social media and anything you would like to share so people can find you?
Hey, the three things I care about right now, to be honest, well, actually four. Number one is I just started a vlog a couple of weeks ago. It's on YouTube. It's called Kendel and Co. That's my name, Kendel and Co. It's just a vlog. It's not just business. It's not just family. It's not just anything. It just every episode just is my real life. So like I said, getting to know me a little better than an Instagram post, better than this interview, better than this, that, and the other. The second thing is, obviously, like you mentioned, my Instagram. That's my social media platform of choice. Kendel on Instagram. The third thing would be the podcast. Like you said, Putting in the Work podcast. It's my baby. It's kind of like my place to just be me because there's no editors. There's nobody else involved in it. It's just my thing. I usually even do it when I'm alone in the office. And the fourth thing is writing this book, the Putting in the Work book. It's going to be, some of those other entrepreneur or motivational or marketing books that you've read that kind of give you a lot of thoughts and tactics, this, that, and the other. It's going to be that, I think, times 10 because I'm really still in the trenches. I haven't, quote unquote, made it yet. So it's going to be a very much in the trench book that's going to give you the tools and the thinking and the attitude change, that you're going to need to really do whatever it is the hell that you want to do.
That's it, the scoop of what it takes in the trench. I got you, the scoop of what it takes in the trenches action of the entrepreneurship business life, which is pretty cool. I respect that because you're still staying humble to your roots while writing too. It's a great message. And there you go, guys. Follow Kendel on those places. Thank you to Anchor Nation for listening. This has been a great episode 50. I'd like to say thanks for everybody who's been supporting since day one. And Kendel, my man, it's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, KT. See you, Anchor Nation.
There you go.
Wow. What do you think of that? Anchornation. Just want to see it. I'm in the speakers, a little jacked up. I just want to see how it ended up sounding.
Hey there, you're about to join a recording on Anchor. If you're not ready to be recorded, recorded. Just disconnect now. You can also disconnect at any time to stop recording.
Hello, Anchornation. This is Kevin Touch, the host of Anchornation Community Radio, and we're back with another episode of the Anchornation Podcast, episode 50, with Kendel Rodriguez. And without further ado, let Kendel introduce himself.
Hey KT, hey Anchor Nation, Kendel Rodriguez, kind of a weird name. I'll kind of freak you out more. Kendel Shane Rodriguez, so that'll throw you for a loop. Basically, that's a podcast episode, and we're on the vlog. Don't want to use any of that. So, little update on today, what's been going on today. It's been raining for like several days now. It just cleared up. Did a podcast today with a good friend of mine, KT, the Anchornation. Sent off 2 proposals today. One of them came back instantly. We're good to go on it. The second one I'm kind of still waiting on. Going to meet with the client right now. Right after that, I'm going to meet with another potential client. Relationship I made online. We'll see kind of what his views are, what his needs are, what his wants are. And then right after that, I have a meeting with another potential client, dinner and drinks. And we'll kind of see the same thing, what his needs are, what he's looking for, how things have been going for him, his successes, things like that, and then where areas where he needs to grow. The important thing that I wanted to talk about, I don't know why my mind is just drawing a blank. I try to eat something really quick before all this so I don't get winded. The important thing I guess to focus on here is just that you have to be flexible and you have to be willing to just go with the flow, because today was supposed to go a lot differently than it has today, and there's lots of little things in there like communication with my team, drafting up content, things like that. Another big thing that's really happened today is just like setting up for tomorrow. You got to always remember that we're setting up for the next day. So like we're doing all of today's work while still setting up for tomorrow, and then while still kind of, if you will, like getting yelled at or having to deal with everything that happened yesterday. So we always have yesterday, today, and tomorrow happening every day, except for Sunday. So here we go. So we're here, I'm here, you and I are here, talk to a client, and really just a recap, just kind of go over what we've kind of did last month and just say before now, and then what we want to do, what's working, what's not working. I really want to go into this just with an open mind and an open notebook, so I don't really want to lead this meeting like I do a lot of meetings. I just want to see what they want, what they like, because at the end of the day, they've got to be happy. You might see me hate on people who do like emails all day and say, man, I was working all day. I might hate on those people a little bit. I mean, not too much, because I get it, it is working. But don't hate on someone that's in meetings all day. That stuff gets exhausting. You're mentally, and then if you're in like intense meetings where you're moving around a lot, it gets exhausting. So on to the next meeting. Hopefully I can film that too.